Hi, welcome back to Simply Zen Spirit. I'm Allison, and I hope you watched my video on meditation last week. If not, I'll link it at the end of this video today. Today I'm going to talk about what I think are the three most important tips to having an effective meditation, to basically getting the most out of meditation that you can. So the first thing would be you have to meditate every day. It's an everyday practice. Now, once you've done it for quite a long time, you can once in a while skip a day without any problem. But when you're first getting started in particular, probably that first 6 months especially, you have to meditate every day. Now, even if you only meditate 10 to 15 minutes, that's okay, but do it every day. It's really building this muscle of meditation in your system. And without doing it every day, it's just like normal exercise. If you didn't exercise every day, you're not going to see the benefit of that in your muscles, and you're not going to see the benefit of it in meditation. So even though you may start slow and start with a small amount of time, you have to meditate every day. So make it a practice. Find a time of day that works best for you. I prefer meditating in the morning. My mind isn't as cluttered with the day, and it's a lot easier to reach that alpha wave brain state that you want to get into with meditation when it's in the morning rather than later in the day, because you've got the buildup of the day's activities and stresses and everything else, and that may affect you being able to go into a deep meditation. So meditate every day. That's tip number one. Tip number two is start slow. If you have not done a lot of meditation, then don't sit down and expect to meditate for an hour. It's going to be torture for you. So if you join like a meditation class where they're sitting for 45 minutes or an hour and you're not used to meditation, you're going to get discouraged. Absolutely get discouraged. So start slow. You might start with some guided meditations on YouTube. You can do them, or other types of formats, but start maybe 10, 15 minutes a day. And a lot of times I've talked to people who say, oh, I have trouble sitting there and having my eyes closed and just being still. Well, start with 10 minutes. And then you build up to 15 or 20. And then I know when I started intensively about 12 years ago, I actually started with about 15 minutes, and I quickly got up to about 30 minutes. I'm probably within 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, but I was meditating every day, and it wasn't that hard for me to sit in meditation because I had done it periodically in my life since the 1980s. But if you don't have that same kind of, history with it or background with meditation, it may take you a while to work up to 30 minutes and then an hour and then maybe more than an hour. And you need to experiment. Even once you've done that, you need to experiment with what's the optimal amount of time for you. For me, it's about an hour, maybe hour, 15 minutes. I found that when I used to meditate for longer periods of time, I was having more other kinds of complications with that. It wasn't providing as much benefit to me. So to me, I like to stick around an hour to hour and 15 minutes. Some days I literally only meditate for maybe 30, 40 minutes. If I don't have a lot of time and I feel a little rushed, I might actually cut meditation a little bit short, but I still do it. So start slow and build up from there. That's the most productive thing you can do. And that way you won't get discouraged by saying, oh, I just can't do an hour. Like in my video last week, I talked about how when I was first learning about meditation, the guideline was to meditate for 2.5 hours a day. And I was like, who can do that? Now I get it. I get how some people do that. But I had no clue, and it was so daunting to me at the time. It really was discouraging. I thought, I'll never do that, and so I just didn't stick with it. So start slow, start small, build up from there, and do it on an individual basis. Everybody's a little different. All of us are not going to get into meditation as much at the same rate, of time. So just build up to it. So my third tip has a lot to do with a lot of the times I've heard people talk about, well, I just can't quiet my mind. I keep having thoughts come in. How do you just get rid of your thoughts? Okay, I know this is are you sitting down? hopefully you're sitting down. You're not going to get rid of your thoughts. You're not going to stop your mind. Your mind is designed to be thinking all the time. It's even thinking when you're asleep. That's why you have dreams and stuff, and they're weird and random and all that stuff. Your mind is just going nuts. I'm sure you've heard the term monkey mind, that we have this kind of monkey-minded time where it just pops from topic to topic and it bounces around and it seems random, and like all of a sudden it thinks about something that happened 30 years ago and you're like, why did that pop in? Okay, you're not going to get rid of monkey mind. But what you can do is befriend it. Make it your friend. Now, this is what I do, and it works really effectively. From the earliest time I was meditating, as thoughts would come in, I would notice them, and then I would just kind of release them to the side, like just release them. And so another thought would pop in, and I'd notice it and then release it. The reason you want to notice it, I don't mean buy into it. I don't mean get involved in it. I mean just notice it, because you don't want to try to ignore. The more you try to ignore your thoughts, the more they will bombard you, because your mind wants attention. It wants your attention. So you notice it and then let it go, and notice the next one and let it go, and notice the next one and let it go, and so on and so forth. Here's the good news about it. The more you get practiced at doing that, you kind of train your mind to quiet down a bit. Now, it's never going to totally stop. But what I have found now is I have very little problem with monkey mind when I am meditating. Very little problem. And if I start to have some sort of problem, I just notice and release. Notice and release. And it kind of gets back into that thing. But when I'm deep in meditation, when I've gone into alpha brainwave and all of that, I don't have thoughts bothering me. I really don't. I'm just focused on the fact that I'm calm, that I feel relaxed, that I feel peaceful, that I'm breathing in and out. I just don't have the real problem. And most people who are experienced meditators, they stop having to worry about their mind. They really just don't have to worry about it anymore. Because eventually, it's like you're training, you're doing a specific training so that your mind knows when you sit in meditation, oh, this is the time we're a little quieter now. Now, it doesn't stop completely, but it does quiet down with training. And I really, really, cannot stress that enough. Don't fight it. You cannot fight your mind. You will not win. You will not win. Your mind will always win. It's got so much in there that it wants to just hash over and talk about. So you're not gonna fight it. Okay, you have to befriend it, and by doing that, you basically notice, release, notice, release. Eventually, it will stop bringing stuff up for you to notice, which is really awesome. So those are my 3 best tips for meditation and how to make it successful for you. I hope that works for you. Until next time, be kind to yourself and to others. Take care.